Hey guys, welcome back. So, I had a recording that got wiped, and I feel like it was a very long, blubbery recording. It was not very guided at all. Well, it was guided, but it wasn't. I was not in the best state. I have not been well. So, the topic that I guess I'm going to focus on is not so much the problem, I guess, but the ways that we can find the solution. So, the reading I got was very long. It was probably half an hour long, and so it kind of fuddled me a little bit to be doing another video about it, because it did take a lot of work and it took a lot of energy for me to really do that reading, obviously. The main point of the reading was to basically clear away the things that no longer serve you. That was the base of it. And the Seven of Cups energy really came through for me. Seven of Cups energy is what people who are into tarot as much as I am, and people who are kind of seasoned tarot readers or tarot workers will understand what I mean, is having those blocks in your life that are deceitful to not only yourself but to the world. So if you claim to be a person who is spiritual and of love and light and, all this and that, what are you doing in the world and for other people that really encompasses that? If you claim to be an animal lover, do you respect animals and respect their emotions and their feelings? Do you respect their order in the world? Do you respect their habitats? And I'm not saying everyone should go out there and be vegan, but I am saying that, there's a level where people put on a facade or they put on a mask. The ego card, that was it. There was another one, there was the ego card. And it was really about finding out these things, these role models. The King of Swords and the King of Wands came out, and finding these role models of how you are bringing what you were taught as a kid or taught in society, that this is what it means to be, like if you were faced with a tyrant or an abusive situation growing up, where this is what it means to be a masculine, and the ways you handle those people are to be how I used to be. Was very much, and I'm saying this, how I used to be as a very recent, when you live in trauma and when you are guided to do the work of your trauma, or you go to counseling, or you use spirituality as a way to help that. There's lots of different ways you can go about healing on your journey, but how are you encompassing that into your life? Like, I used to very much be everyone else sits around and lets it happen. Everyone else doesn't say a single word. We don't talk about this in our house. We don't do this in our house. And I was very much the person, once I had had enough, I stopped. I'd had enough. I had enough of being quiet. I had enough of no one standing up for me. I had enough of no one protecting me. So I would be the loud one. I would be the one making sure my voice is heard. I was done with being quiet. But that also comes with its own set of issues. And there's a difference between staying quiet and letting abuse happen, and role modeling that same behavior. Like, around my children, it's very different. You know, there's situations where it's like, you know, you have to take a more balanced Libra energy type of view on things. Like, yep, this is who they are, this is how they choose to act, and this is how we act according to this. But there was very much situations, even in my most recent past, where it would slip, and these feelings of being on my own side, what do they call that? Like the protector energy. You have your own protector energy inside of you, you know, having that self-justice became problematic because it was affecting my friendships, it was affecting other relationships, and it would not be something I wanted to role model to my own children, that you have to sit there kicking and screaming to get your voice heard. And I can't remember, I still can't remember the saying, but the saying was basically like, if they're not serving what you ask for, then you leave the table. And I had very much not learnt that to the full extent, because I was still in this ego trap, still very much had some locks to work through. You know, there's lots of things that we take into account. There's lots of things that are more serious that need to be, you know, looked at first. There's lots of other things that need to be dealt with first. But even things that keep you safe, even if it's not, oh, I'm standing up for myself, I'm being loud, I'm being this, I'm being that, I'm not going to be shy, I'm not going to shy away from this confrontation. Even if it's not shying away from confrontation, being afraid of being yourself is an ego and a fear-based mindset either way. Like, you can say, oh, I don't want to, I'm a very pleasant person most of the time. Like, I'm kind, I'm gentle, I'm this, I'm that type of parent. But when it gets to a frustrating time, does your ego slip up? Do you have these blocks around control or around not feeling good enough? And so you lash out at your kids, or you lash out at your pets, or you lash out at your partner because you have this block around control and around consistency and around self-care and around judgment. So the second that you get into those situations where you're not balanced within yourself, do you feel these blocks of, oh, I need to do this to feel a sense of control, or I need to do this in order to feel safe? And basically the moral of the reading was, if you identify yourself as a particular person, or you identify yourself as a particular, like being a particular person in the world, like I'm a generous person, or I'm a kind person, or I'm a whatever person, do your actions speak that? Or is it simply your words? Or is it you wanting to take that action is not the same thing as actually taking the action? Like, oh, I want to be this great person in my life. And you know, waiting around until something makes you do it. Like, you're waiting until your deathbed before you finally apologize to your children. Or you're waiting until your spouse dies, or you know, you're waiting until it's an extreme tower moment for you before you make a change. And that is very much a fear-based mindset. Having the curiosity of discovering a new way of doing things is scary. It is very scary for a lot of people. And we're going to be able to kind of pull a couple cards now to give you some advice as to what you can embrace from that. Like, it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh, these are the things you have a block on, or these are the things you need to work on. But it's a lot harder for someone who's maybe newer at this, who maybe kind of having that fear of like, well, if I do this, I'm going to lose all my friends, or if I do this, I'm going to lose all my family. And I don't know how to live in the world. I don't know how to be in this state of uncertainty and this state of like in between, where I don't know how to embody the thing that I want to become, and so I take no action. Like, it's really hard to do that, but now we're getting to this state. Yeah, the illusion of feeling trapped with the eight of swords, you're really lacking the confidence in yourself to take this action. Then you have the Knight of Wands, which is really like, okay, something has happened pretty quickly, or something has been brought to your attention pretty abruptly. Like, maybe you've just woken up and you've like, oh, I can't get rid of this guilt, or this has come to my attention. Even if it's not someone bringing it to your attention, like, you know, it's not someone riding up on a horse and saying, hey, look, this is the fire, this is the thing that is needing to be lit up for you to look at. It may not be someone bringing that to your attention, like how these videos are. It may just be you wake up one day and go, I can't shake this guilt. I can't shake this feeling that I'm not being who I am, and it's coming through in my life. Like, I'm getting snappy at the kids, or I'm getting snappy at my partner. I'm getting, you know, and being able to not see you get the Five of Cups as well, which is kind of like things aren't turning out the way you hope, you know. But at the same time, it's about realizing that you don't have control over how other people react. You don't have control over situations, but you have control over yourself. You have control over your words, you have control over your actions, you have control over your intentions. And it's hard to sit there and say, well, my intention is to be a good person. My actions don't say that, though. You need to come with the absolute best faith that you possibly can. So if you have this fear, you know, I have this lack of self-confidence, I'm too afraid to take action and apologize, or I'm too afraid to take action and come clean about something I've been holding on to, and it's driving me full of guilt. It comes quickly. Like, you need to think things through carefully and think things through factually too, because it could just be someone has, like, I'll take some of my own personal stuff, someone has wronged you in some ways in the past. Like, maybe you've had a long-term relationship, or you've had a long-term friendship, or a long-standing multiple arguments with family members or whatever. And it's like, look at the facts of all of it. Know that you can't control the way that things are going to go. You can't control whether or not it's all going to be happy bubbly at the end of it, whether you're going to have the best happy home life in the world. You can't control any of that, but you can choose who you're going to become and what type of person you're going to become. And if you're the type of person who goes, no, I can't hold this guilt in anymore, it's right here. It's time to really just take those steps and look at the facts and go, yes, this person really hurt me. I'm not going to come crawling on my knees begging to them and asking for forgiveness. No, because they're not the type of person to receive that in the way, like, you want to make them aware that their actions are still not, like, the way you are going to be treated. You're not going to stand up. You're not going to scream and shout. You're not going to make yourself heard by the entire neighborhood. But at the same time, you're done with this life. you're done with who you used to be, and you're done with accepting things that you don't accept from other people and yourself. It's okay to say, I'm sorry that I did this to you. This was a horrible thing I did. I did it out of fear, or I did it for whatever reason, because I had an addiction. I did it because of my fear. I did it because of my trauma, or I did it because that's who I used to be. Even if it's just you've changed. But I send you away with love and light. Like, I don't want you in my life still. Because the person that you've shown me you are is not someone I want in my life. And that's a hard situation, because we very much get stuck in these states. Like childhood, we get this wishful thinking of, if we just apologize, they will apologize, and everything will be fine, and we can have happy friendship, happy relationship, happy family life. And things don't always turn out that way. It's time to get a new perspective on things. I'm sorry, it's a calming thing. I don't know if anyone notices. It's just me shuffling. It's a calming thing for me. It helps me keep guided, helps me keep on track. Yeah, you need to be recognized. You get the 3 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, and the Queen of Air. As a Queen of Swords. You need to have this flighty moment where you can start brand new. You get that choice to start brand new. You get this choice to decide who you're going to be, and you're going to be a team player, as it says, to bring your work to the table. It's not about everyone else bringing the same work to the table. It's making sure that you are coming to the table with what you decide is the high quality work. So if you say, I'm going to treat people how they treat me, that's a lazy excuse to act exactly the same as people that you disagree with. It's deciding to live in the past and to romanticize ways that, are old school. They're old school terms for people who want to be able to be free of that shame and free of that guilt. Saying like, oh, I'll be loyal to someone who's loyal to me. That's fine. Maybe just don't have that person in your life at all. But don't sit there and go, I get to treat this person however I want because they were disloyal to me. That's shadow work. You need to do work on that. You need to do work on saying, I get to have no emotions about this. I get to have no attachment about this. You really need to be like, okay, I'm leaving the table. So you have fun with this party you got going on of disloyalty, or you get to have fun with that. But I'm no longer this person, and I'm no longer sitting at this table of playing this game between you and you. Because it's a game between you and you. It's your own shit. It's your own blocks between you and you. Because you've left the table. There's no one else there. If you've decided to leave a situation, like you kind of get stuck in the past, and it's not about, oh, well, you're not at that place anymore, and therefore that shit shouldn't affect you. It affects you. And trauma definitely affects people. But not being honest about the trauma, not realizing where you need to take work, is going to affect your life 10 times more than saying, I have blocks with this. I have blocks with masculines. I have blocks with judgment. I have blocks with fear and shame. And I'm going to be the person I want to be now. I'm not waiting around anymore for people to change. I'm not waiting around for people to treat me how I treat them, because that's very imbalanced. If someone kept coming up to me and talking badly about me behind my back and I know it, yes, I'm not going to talk badly about them behind their back. I'm just not going to have anything to do with them because they're not a person that I can trust to be at my table in the first place. And I will not treat you like a best friend, and I will not treat you with loyalty and respect if I have been shown that you will not treat people with loyalty and respect. I will just not simply have you in my house. I will simply not have you in my life. You will be a random stranger on the street to me. And if some random stranger on the street to me said, hey, I'd say hey back. But I would have no emotions to them at all. At all. And they can continue their game. They can continue their fun laugh, ha ha ha. But it doesn't touch me at all. All that does is show me that person is this type of person. They're disloyal. They're dishonest. They sit there, they talk badly about people behind their back, and that's cool for them. I've left the table. I'm no longer involved. I don't care. And there's no need to lose your own power by associating yourself with the person you used to be. And it's time to really talk sense about how you're going to go from here on. We're going to really stop letting our ears burn. My ear is burning. Do you have that feeling of when people talk about you or you hear something out of like clairaudient, but your ears actually burn? I get that. It's odd, but I guess it's a good indicator that when it's like a flush feeling, I kind of get wary around those people. Yeah, you have the Devil, the Five of Cups, and the Page of Cups. You're suffering from like a grieving of this old shadowy way of being with the devil. You're not deceiving yourself anymore. You're not deceiving any people anymore of who you say that you are or who you think you are. You're going to really be a more authentic person in your life. You're not going to be like, you're allowed to look at this. You're allowed to face this. You're allowed to say, yes, this is who I was. You're allowed to take that and grieve that part of yourself that had to be that way. But you're also going to bring in these new opportunities for love and light, and you're going to bring in these new opportunities for, you know, love in a new way, an honest way of being in the world. And you're going to be able to give yourself that self-love to say, I deserve better than to be a person I hate. I deserve better than being a person I'm not for. Like, if I took myself with everything that I've ever done in my life, yes, I probably would look at that as like, oh my God. But if I take myself for who I choose to be now and who I choose to become now, I give myself that opportunity. And you get to decide who you have at your table and who you don't. But you got to make sure that you're the person that's going to step up and make sure that you're worthy of being at your own table. Because if you don't like the actions that you're exhibiting to the whole world, then you're the only person that can really change that. Now this sounds super dark. I don't know how dark it sounds to other people, but you get the Three of Cups at the end of it. Like, the world's coming through with the Three of Cups, and that's really talking about, you know, receiving new love and new friendships and new long-term happiness in an authentic, loving way, and not worrying about the past anymore. You're able to, like, you're never going to start fresh in the way that people say, like, oh, we're going to start fresh, we're going to, like, pretend it never happened. No, you're allowed to take on your baggage, you're allowed to take on who you used to be and say, this is not who I am anymore. These are the decisions that I'm making, and this is now who I am from this day. And you're allowed to leave the table. Sometimes it's just time to leave the table. And yeah, that's kind of all I have for you guys. I hope you have a good day.